Firstly, Dharamsala, over now 57 years. This is my permanent residence. So I welcome my home. Thank you. My second home. First home, Tibet. India, now second home, and Dharamsala, as I mentioned earlier, 57 years. 59 reached India, political asylum, and 1 year I stay at Mussoorie. Then May 60, I shifted here. Government of India chose this place, not me. So we little complained at that time because we felt this is a little bit more isolated. Mussoorie more closer to Delhi, more easier. Nowadays, facility much improved, air service, daily basis. So now, say, okay, no problem. So in any way, firstly, I welcome, as this is my home. And secondly, I want to express my greetings, Himalayan Club somewhere. So Himalayan, I think the physically Himalayan mountains and also beyond Himalayan mountain, Tibetan plateau is source of all major rivers which cover, for example, Yellow River in China, through China, and then Mekong River through Vietnam, all these things. Then Brahmaputra, and then Gangas, and then Kasachuti, Indus through Pakistan. So I think the Himalayan sort of area is the source of major rivers, which I think over a billion human beings' life depend on these rivers. And then I have also now I want to share with you one of my sort of responsibility given by late Kaza Bahuna. You see, he gave me some kind of almost as a responsibility. Whenever you visit this area, you must tell preservation of forest or Himalayan range should not deforest. So in some extent, I do that. So you, as a sort of Himalayan club, I think not only climbing the mountain, but also you see telling, whenever you visit in this area, you see local people, they're taking care about environment. And it's and also I from time to time I'm telling Kasachuti, Shingsuya,
to plant trees in the Himalayan regions.
Like that. So, what do you want to say?
To us.
Are there any questions? Please sit down. Oh, here. Exchange. First, I put my neck, and then perhaps like this. Some dirty things from my neck return now. Please sit down. You see, no need formality. I always say acting completely informal way. So, Because I believe, my fundamental belief is, we are same human being. Mentally, emotionally, physically. And I sort of try to share with other people whenever I sort of have opportunity to talk. I always see emphasis. I believe 7 billion human beings. You see, actually, human brothers, sisters. No differences. And difference of nationality, different color, different faith is secondary. When we born, same human children. You see, same human milk. And we survived with mother's milk and mother's care, or parents' care. 7 human beings, same. That's a fundamental thing. And furthermore, I think a lot of problem now these days, particularly these days, every day news, some problem, killing. All these secondary level of, due to secondary level of differences, different nationality, different system, different religious faith. So the remedy these problems is we must go to think or go to deeper level. We are same human being. We have to live on this planet as a human, humanity, human brothers, sisters, with human brothers, sisters. That spirit, much better. I feel, I convinced that's the only thing, only way to reduce man-made problem. I think religion, fail to bring peaceful world. Now we must work through education, through awareness, through vision. Consider entire 7 billion human being, same human being. Everyone want happy life. No one want suffering, problem. So, copied way, I'm thinking, I want happiness, do not want suffering. So, rest of the 7 billion human being also you see same feeling, same right. Then, if possible, serve other people, help other people. If not, at least restrain harming other. Then, happier world can develop. Not just technology on these things. Technology is very good. Technology provides us physical comfort. But a lot because of the best facility for physical comfort, but mentally full of anger, full of stress. Individual person himself and then herself also will not be happy. I think high position, even I think the president or king or also the leader of nation, a big name, I think including America, the president of I think because of the most powerful and most sort of because of the leading nation of free world. Of course, I never met, you see, because of President Trump, but judging his face, seems not very happy. Many other sort of leader seems to see people who have some inner peace, then automatically their face also something different, isn't it? So like that. So that's my commitment till my death. Now 82 years old. Maybe next 10, 15 years, I may be more active. After that, too old. So, our generation, very important. Now tell people what's wrong. So many problems besides nature disaster. The global warming, due to global warming, now nature disaster, I think, will increase. Some Japanese? Oh, so like Tokyo and some big city eventually may submerge. And India, Calcutta, and some city, big city, or maybe eventually, and Shanghai. Because you see, seawater now increasing. So I am one Irish an ecologist. He showed me one article wrote by one Chinese ecologist. That mentioned that Chinese ecologist, through many decades, he observed, Tibetan area. So then he found the effect from Tibetan plateau towards global warming. He found effect from Tibetan plateau as much as South Pole and North Pole. So he described Tibetan plateau as third pole. So you see, you people, this is some connection with the Himalayan range. Please, you see, pay more attention about the preserve or special care about ecology in Himalayan. And this site free, so you can do more so freely, more easier. The other side, the system something different, but I think particularly Indian, you see, have certain right, you see, to show concern about Tibetan ecology, because river which come from Tibet, you see, Indian use this water, so you have some certain right, you see, to express your sense of concern about ecology in Tibetan plateau. Okay. Yes, now questions. And questions rather, you see, I prefer, you see, some discussions. Sit. No formality,
Okay. Thank you, sir. On behalf of the Himalayan Club, this is a momentous occasion, beginning of our 90th year. With your blessings and good wishes, we read your message, which was very thoughtful and considerate. Just wanted to make a couple of comments. You mentioned about the Himalayan region, the roof of the world. Our very famous Sanskrit poet, Kalidasa, has also called it Manadanda. And that Manadanda, according to me, is core values, which should also be associated with the Himalayan, which has taught us. There's courage, optimism, perseverance, patience, and most of all, purity. These values are today still being practiced and propagated by people like you. We have had sages, we have had saints, we have had lamas, we have got rishis who have written a lot, but somebody who lives those very values in a living fashion, such as yourself, we are very thankful that you are carrying on this rich legacy for all of us. Those who love Himalayas love also these values, and that's what we are grateful to you to propagate. Thank you very much. I don't want to say anything more. We have some questions which we have sent earlier.
Yes.
Kindly be good enough to
yes?
respond.
Yes. Ladakh. Ladakh, you can read. Which part of Ladakh? Nubra.
Yes.
Suppose I think this summer I may go Nubra.
Yes,
Trisur Rinpoche and also Trisur Rinpoche invited me. Good. Yes?
My name is Nandini. I am asking you a few questions on behalf
Yes.
of the group.
Okay. Yes?
The first
You see, prepared question, and also you see, without prepare, just because of that spontaneous
Yes,
question,
yes.
also welcome.
Yes.
Now, 10:30, no problem. Yes.
What is the quality or gift of mountains that draws us to them, not just for sport, but spiritual refreshment?
Spiritual air. I don't know. The mountain appears, and particularly with snow, beautiful. But actually, if we try to live there, I think very difficult. So now, me, when I was young, in Canada, I reached India 24 or 25, the age. No? Then early 60s, I'm quite young, so I climbing these mountains. In Tibet also. You see, some I sort of encourage some officials. You see, they describe me.
Those officials used to tell His Holiness that he actually runs uphill like mountain goats, or
So they cannot sort of
keep up with, like catch up. Catch up.
Oh, catch up. So I love, you see, climbing mountains like that. Now that's gone. So mountain, I don't know. Like I think the Gyangsorch, such a Gyangsorch.
So these the mountains are like ornaments of the land.
Then Himalayan mountains, I think both Tibetan side as well as Indian side, and Nepal also, I think. And through centuries, many spiritual practitioners, you see, remain these remote mountainous area. Some occasion, Mahakumbha Mela, I met some sadhus, completely naked. And I was told some of these remain whole year in Kazota, a snow mountain, without sort of dress. So that shows they have the experience of practice of Chandalini. You know, Kundalini, Chandalini. Chandalini, you see, creates inner heat. So among Tibetan, you see, there is some sort of practice during winter, because of the very cold climate, and because of the practitioner remain naked, and then on top of that, the
And they clad themselves with some material.
Because put in water, cold water, then sort of cover the physical. Then eventually the language.
Then they would actually steam.
So over one night, 10, 15 change, such thing. So there is the practice, or as a result of practice, some kind of special inner heat. So some occasion, the Harvard Universities, many years ago, there's one doctor, Howard Benson. You see, he came, Dharamsala, and carried some sort of experiment, some practitioner. One practitioner, I remember, he not specially sort of, expertise this general practice, but he meditate on daily basis. So the Dr. Benson find some special sort of energy in that person, in that person's sort of physical level. So one occasion, that person he brought to Harvard University and some very cold room. That monk is remain, let remain, and then no feeling of cold because certain sort of practice of inner heat, like that. So I think through centuries, many Indian practitioners, praising, as you mentioned, Himalaya. Like that. Okay?
Yeah. One more question. The Buddha did not profess religion. How and why did Buddhism become a religion, and what is the purpose of it?
Kasha. I think Buddha, after he enlightened, 3 Dharma wheels, we call Dharma wheel, teaching. First, at the Sarnath. Second, Rajagiri. And then third, Vaishali. So, I think the first teaching, Dharma teaching at Sarnath, about the Four Noble Truths and the 37 practice. These are common Theravada tradition or Pali tradition and Sanskrit tradition, same. I usually call that foundation of Buddha Dharma, Four Noble Truths, or these things. And second Dharma wheel, Dharma teaching at Rajagiri. Then he emphasis the concept of shunyata. Shunyata, not nothingness, but because the things exist due to other factor. So, patit samupad, because things are interconnected. Things' existence very much depend on other, not by itself. Therefore, nothing independently exists. So that's the meaning of shunyata. So some of his I think teaching at second Dharma wheel, he mentioned, all my follower, bhikshus or monks, scholars, should not accept my teaching out of faith, out of devotion, but rather thorough investigation and experiment. So some people from the West, they describe Buddhism is not a religion. Buddhism is science of mind. To some extent, I think that's true. So I usually explaining Buddha Dharma. Of course, all major world religious tradition teach us practice of love, forgiveness, tolerance, self-discipline. All major religious tradition. So Buddhism also used to teach us the main message is karuna. So same. Now differences in philosophical field. basically, you see, two groups. Religion, which based on faith about Creator, God. There are many Hindus also, you see, believe God. And then Jains and Buddhism, no God, no Creator. So big differences. Within non-theistic religion, Sangha philosophy, Jain philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, see, there are differences. The Sangha philosophy as well as Jain philosophy, you see, have this sort of belief, Atma. Only Buddhism, no Atma, Anatma. So big differences. One occasion, now many years ago, one professor from, I think, one of the Bihar University, eventually he took monastic ordination from me. Wonderful, a professor, wonderful. So then one day, we just casual talk. Buddhism, no Atma, according to Buddhist philosophy, no Atma. Then he actually shivering, oh, there is no Atma. Then I explained the real meaning of anatma does not mean we denying self. Self is there. Buddha himself self. When you see Buddha, you see say, no, concept of selflessness is the self as such, beside this body and mind, some kind of permanent, independent oneness, that kind of self does not exist. So because of that meaning, selflessness or anatma theory. So there are, within sort of non-theistic religion, there are differences, and within Buddhism, Vibhashik, Saudantik, Chidamantra, then Madhyamika, differences in theory. So Madhyamika theory, quite one, I think this because of support from scientific finding, quantum physics is very similar that of Nagarjuna's view, things does not exist as appears. So the Raja Ramana, I think you may have heard, Indian nuclear physicist. His nickname is India's Sakharov, because he one of the scientists to build nuclear weapon. So once he told me, many years ago, once he told me, quantum physics in the world considered something new. In this country, over 2,000 years, that concept already developed in this country. So Madhyamika philosophy, the quantum physics goes
compatible.
Now modern physicists, modern sort of scientists, say, I think at least 2 centuries, I think mainly, you see, focusing on matter, not mind. So the physicists, the quantum physicists, they say nothing objectively exists. So finally, observer becomes very important. Now the next question, what is the observer? A scientist has no answer. Because because of the late 20th century, the science, modern science, not much talk about mind. So many scientists, they believe just a brain. Beside brain, nothing there. So you see, even you see, these days, some scientists, you see, they only sort of think brain, no sort of mind. Now, later part of 20th century, those, as I mentioned earlier, is some meditation, not physical exercise or something, but through meditation, training of mind, it actually affect their brain. So now, like Richard Davidson, you see, now accept, or beside brain, there is something which can affect our brain. So now, the scientists gradually, you see, develop interest about observer. So then, further question, where is observer? Anathema theory now coming. So like that. So therefore, in a way, Buddhism can say philosophy or science of mind, not religion as such. Faith. 되게 럭 삼아송에.
No.
당시 시사리. 롱 장사송. So many the scholars from Nalanda, these painting, I composed one praising way. Praise. 17 Nalanda masters. Is it like Nagarjuna and many his followers actually rejected some of Buddha's own teaching. If you accept literally this Buddha's teaching, it goes against reason. Therefore, we must reject. Buddha already gave us liberty to reject his own teaching. So this is quite unique, isn't it? I respect all religion. All religion carry the message of love. Wonderful. But then theoretical viewpoint, philosophical viewpoint, I think Buddha Dharma's theory is more because of the scientific way, as you mentioned. Yes?
I'll ask one more and then maybe others can also.
Yes.
You approach this a little bit, but can you talk a little bit more about it? In today's world full of religious-based conflicts, should we pursue religion or abandon it?
As I mentioned earlier, all major religious traditions carry the same message. If you seriously follow your tradition and sincerely, not just content, visit occasionally the church or because of the mandir, and the daily life, not much sort of, because of the concern. That is the problem. That is the problem. I often used to telling my Indian friend, I think Indian, generally speaking, religious-minded people, nation. I think each family, some statue of Shivaji or Saraswati or Ganesh, and each morning the family member, particularly the lady, pray some flower, some incense. It looks, sometimes I jokingly teasing my friend, each morning is praying in front of God. It looks like the praying to God for please bless us, my corrupted life more successful. So, and now these Muslim or Christian, you see, even if some Burmese Buddhist, if they seriously follow their own teaching, for example, the Muslim, many of my Muslim friends, they say, the genuine practitioner of Islam, if impossible to create bloodshed. Even you see, one person who belongs Muslim community, if that person creates bloodshed, no longer genuine Muslim. And the very meaning of jihad is not harming other, but combat within yourself the destructive emotion and positive emotion. Combat. That's the meaning of jihad. Yeah. And then one Muslim friend told me, the genuine Muslim practitioner must extend love towards entire creature of Allah. Same. Buddhism, all sentient being, mother sentient being, we must extend our love. And Christian practitioner, they say all the creatures of God. So I think Christian, all human being, whole world, actually created by God. Therefore, in that sense, and this very life, no previous life, only this very life created by God. So therefore, you see, that brings some kind of strong feeling, intimacy towards God. So more sort of that feeling, more willingness to follow God's path. Nobody say God is full of anger. God full of love, infinite love. So we are children of such Father. So that philosophical view, very, very powerful to bring conviction about love. And practice love sincerely, then you become happy person, no question, peaceful person, like that. So each wonderful, if you seriously practice or sincerely sort of follow. So one occasion in Mexico, one was a meeting, some Catholic university. They invited me, and then I talked. The local Kasota priest also is there. I mentioned sometimes it looks religion remain on our dress. So those Christian minister also, you see, some dress, special dress. So religion looks, you see, on the dress. So long the dress there, so you acting like holy person. When dress no longer there, then acting something different. So religion must be here, not on dress. So many the teacher or the priest say appreciate or agree. Then next morning, an old bishop or something came to see me. He very much sort of appreciate about my sort of frank expression, like that. So therefore, religion, whether accept the religion or not, up to individual. Once you accept, must be serious. Then religious teaching must be part of your life. Then all have same potential. So sometimes I also feel too much sort of killing in the name of religion. And sometimes I think the Pope recently I saw one news report. His Holiness, Pope, mentioned it is better be non-believer than mischievous Christian. That's very good. Therefore, whether you accept religion or not, up to individual. Once you accept, you should be sincere and serious. So, religious person with the name of religion. So therefore, I often now telling the wording is Muslim terrorist. It is wrong. Terrorist is terrorist. Anyone, you see, once committed terrorist, then no longer Muslim, no longer Buddhist, like Burmese, the terrorists also. It's a few years ago when I was one occasion I was in Washington. So first time I heard the Burma, some Buddhist monk, you see, because of the terrorized order, some Muslim community there. So at that time, Time magazine, the cover picture, one Buddhist monk, and mentioned Buddhist terrorist. I am Buddhist. I feel a little uncomfortable. So genuine sort of Buddhist never committed such things. So similarly, Muslim, genuine Muslim practitioner, as I mentioned earlier, never committed such things. So some mischievous people once committed that, you cannot say Muslim terrorist. Like that.
Nakamura-san has done a lot of expeditions in eastern Tibet, 40 expeditions. So we'll ask him to...
Correct. Oh, I see.
Yes.
Right.
For 25 years, I went to Tibet, mainly eastern Tibet and southern Tibet, including Sichuan, Qinghai,
Right.
Yunnan, those areas Tibetan inhabitants are living. So that's a wonderful place. And my journey was to find unclimbed mountains. So I went to the areas 40 times, and fortunately I could find over 100 high peaks, unknown high peaks. That's my, how to say, pride.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm Tibetan, and particularly I come from Amdo area. So your visit to Tibet, most welcome. Thank you.
Now, His Holiness, I would like to ask you, we have been to Tibet several times, but outwardly everything looks nice and good. So what is the deeper problem in Tibet? Because as a casual visitor, we find
Right.
all okay.
There is one Chinese businessman, really, I think more than millennia, I think. He constantly visit Tibet also. No, I think China. He, I think mainly Taiwan. Then often used to visit China for business. So he also has a number of Chinese leaders he knows. So once he came to see me, and he told me after he visited Lhasa, so there's new buildings or new road and many sort of market, these things, I say, very beautiful. He mentioned to me. Then also he met some Tibetan. So these Tibetan, expressed to him, yes, external material development is very good, but inside always fear and very difficult. And so he mentioned that, his experience, while he expressed that, tear, crying. So that's the situation. Outwardly, things good. And everybody, out of fear, saying some nice things. And I think remote area, if you have opportunity, visit some remote area with some trusted translator, then you will know. And the communist sort of say, I think we are not anti-Han people, also our brothers, sisters. And 7th century, 8th century, at a family level, very close link with Chinese emperor, Tang dynasty, like that. So the 7th century Tibetan emperor, Songtsen Gampo, married with one Chinese princess. So since then, the family level is a very close link. And then also you see many, China, historically Buddhist country. So there are many Buddhist sacred sort of area in China. So many Tibetans used to take pilgrimage to China. So historically very close. And then now today, I think few years ago, perhaps I think 4 or 5 years ago, Beijing University carried survey how many Buddhists in China, about 4 or 5 years ago. So the reports say more than 300 million Buddhist population in China. And then, you see, the people who carry survey, they impressed many of these Buddhist educated people. Now, then since then, a number of occasions, meeting some Chinese, then according to them, nowadays, Buddhist population in China, around 400 millions. Many Chinese Buddhists, now they realize Tibetan tradition is the authentic Nalanda tradition. This is, therefore, so many of them are very, very keen to receive teaching from Tibetan scholars. Not necessarily Tibetan lamas or these things, big name. One Tibetan scholar, I think maybe 2 centuries ago, 200 years ago, I think, 200 years ago. He quite sort of frankly sort of straightforward. He mentioned Tibetan Lama, long name, but the knowledge short. Whereas Indian masters, name very short, like Nagarjuna or Buddha Padita or Chandrakirti, Dharmakirti, very short. Their knowledge very long. I think because Tibetan lamas, you see, of course there are very good lamas also there, but quite often, you see, little sort of the spoiled lama. So drink and wife and the name of tantric practice. So eventually, and the population, uneducated, so the population, you see, people, lama, who have big name or high throne, you see, the people, you see, showing more respect. So therefore, eventually, I think some Catholic monks or visitors, I think maybe last, 4 centuries, happily, one occasion, I had the opportunity to visit one Catholic monastery in Italy. They told me one of their monks visited in, a few centuries ago, like that. So then, eventually, you see, quite some, you see, people visit Tibet. So then they sort of, judging the superficial sort of thing, then they describe Tibetan Buddhism is not genuine Buddhism, but Lamaism. Isn't it? Oh. So because, you see, not like monk in Sri Lanka or Burma or Thailand like that. So therefore, in Ladakh also, you see some Lama drink. Like that. So therefore, the new name, Lamaism. Now, last, you see, several years, I always was trying to explain genuine Tibetan Buddhism is entirely based on writing or text wrote by Nalanda Master. We have 300 volumes, Kanjur about 100 volumes, and Tenjur means commentary about Buddha's teaching, wrote by Nalanda Master, more than 200 volumes. So altogether 300 volumes. These are our texts. Good scholars, Tibetan, they quite sort of knowledgeable. These 300 volumes. So, and commentary wrote by Tibetan on these 300 volumes which come from India mainly. I think about 15, 20 sort of volumes from Chinese. Otherwise, rest of all 300 volumes translated from Sanskrit and some Pali, like that. So commentary, I think around 30,000 volumes wrote by Tibetan Lama. So these are our texts. The genuine Tibetan Buddhists, you see, practice according to these texts. So we are truly follower of Nalanda tradition. So all Indian tradition, all Nalanda masters, all are Indian, particularly South Indian. North Indian, because of cold climate, I think the brain may be less active. You from South India, North India?
West, Mumbai.
Bombay. Oh, generally I think belong South India. So all those Nalanda masters come from South India. So they say the land of coconut. So that obviously not Himachal, not Punjab, South India. So usually you see, I sort of teasing some my Indian friend. This is South Indian brain is something very special. In any way, now I want to sort of to tell you. Now actually I have 3 commitments. Number 1 commitment is promotion of human value. That is human compassion, karuna. Now scientists also, they say, basic human nature is more compassionate. So that's our hope. Since basic human nature is more compassionate. So I may explain this, some more. You know, few occasions, some discussion with scientists. Now, over 30 years, I have serious discussion with scientists, mainly the cosmology, neurobiology, and physics, particularly quantum physics, then psychology. These 4 fields, I have this very room, several occasions, discussion with scientists. So these days I describing myself half Buddhist monk, half scientist. So as a scientist, some of Buddhists because of writing mentioned about Mount Meru, world flat, and the sun and the moon, you see, more or less same size and same level goes around Mount Meru. Now I publicly reject that. With respect, some of the Nalanda master, like Bosubandhu, is a great sort of master, but he mentioned like that. So that part I cannot accept. I think millions of people, you see, because in aeroplanes, where aeroplane used to go around the world, or India to Europe, Europe to America, America to Japan, like that. Nobody is seeing Mount Meru. If Mount Meru, I think Ladakh is, and many Tibetan, we believe there is Mount Meru. So I offering Mandala, Mount Meru. But who really believed that, I think, because of the go by aeroplane, goes, I think we'll never see Mount Meru. So like that. So therefore, some occasion, now some scientists say, I also attended that meeting, I also there. So one cartoon to show one 5-6 month old infant child, language not yet developed. So very difficult to influence from outside. I think very nature of human being, very sort of fresh or very alive. So that child showing one cartoon to young children. One children try to pushing one ball on upward. Another child helping and very friendly attitude. When that cartoon seeing by that infant child, smiling. So express sort of vasudhe, because joyful, enjoy that sort of seeing. Then next, another cartoon, 2 children, one children pushing the ball upward, then another child, because of the create obstacle or negative face. So when you see that cartoon picture seen by that infant child, the child itself, unhappy, expression of unhappiness. And then more important, constant anger, constant, hatred, fear, very bad for our health. Actually, these experience eating our immune system. Other hand, more compassionate mind, the immune system, in some cases even increasing. So therefore, they concluded basic human nature is more compassionate. So now the problem is existing education. Now education system is very much oriented material value, not talking about inner value. So now, because of the day after tomorrow, 27th, we're going to have one meeting, mainly some Indian, Tata
Institute of Social Science and Research from Bombay.
So they already carry some research work, how to introduce a curriculum mentioning about secular ethics without any mentioning any religious belief. Simply, the sort of our common sense and sort of common experience and scientific findings, which can fit in secular education field. So now, next 2 days, we're going to discuss. Then, eventually, I think after a few months, I want to have, because of the almost like international sort of conference. I think many scholars, many scientists agree existing education system not adequate, you see, to build inner value, without touching religion. So the problem, modern education started about, I think, 200 years, mainly from West. Then, you see, moral things or inner value is concerned, totally relying on religion. So at that time, maybe adequate. Inner value is concerned, religion take full responsibility. Then, with more industrialized sort of, because of industrializing, so the knowledge about these things are very necessary. So education, newly developed education system, mainly, you see, oriented about this value. That's understandable. Now time come, the materialistic oriented sort of education brings whole generation. They are so always talk about external things, not much talk about inner sort of value. So therefore, you see, I think a lot of crisis on this planet now because of lack of moral principle, mainly lack of compassion, which is based on sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. As I mentioned earlier, oneness. Due to lacking that, and there too much emphasis, my nation, in India, because of the caste system, I think very bad. I always telling the Indian spiritual leaders now should take more active role. The caste system, I think some influence from the feudal system. Landlord, in order to exploit, you see, working class people or farmers, because of caste system, I think develop in order to Kasuta. No, the landlord have something special right. So class system, you see, caste system. Now time come, must change that. We are same. India's constitution, wonderful, but still not sufficient to real change on Kasuta public level, particularly rural area. So now religious leader should speak more. Even if you believe God, Creator, the Creator, you see, all different caste people, same source, God. So no problem. Maybe shared kare, chod kare. Ka. Oh, so yes, number one, my commitment is promotion of human value, human compassion, entirely based on scientific finding. Then our common experience, we all come from our mother. We all experience parents' sort of tremendous sort of affection, particularly our mother. I always telling, my first guru about Karuna is my mother. Really, my mother is so kind to me. So, in some extent, I spoiled some child. So, as a villager, there's no toys, nothing. So my mother always carry me on mother's shoulder. When mother milking animal or some work in farming, she always carry me. So I also find very comfortable on mother's shoulder, sit like that. So eventually I become bold and hold my mother's ear. And then I want to go this side. I control my mother's movement and this side, like that. If mother not follow my wish, and then crying, shouting. So really, the seed of compassion here. First, I learned from my mother. Then, of course, later, these Nalanda masters. So teaching about mind, about emotion, and how to tackle emotion. That, then on the basis of certain experience which I learned from my mother as a sort of kasurda, good soil, good soil. Then all these Nalanda masters teaching, then really absorb like that. So this is my number one commitment. Irrespective whether believer or non-believer, we are human beings. We need compassion. So the compassion, the way promote is a secular way, not based on religion. Because as today, about the 7 billion human beings, over 1 billion non-believer. So these also human brothers, sisters. We must have sort of method to reach these non-believer. If we talk God, Buddha will not reach these people. So entirely secular way. So this is my number one commitment. Number two commitment, I am Buddhist, and I spend now most part of my life in this country. I really impressed this country, all different religious traditions can live together. I think around 3,000 years, different religious sort of tradition already started in this country. I think firstly Sankhyaism, then Jainism, then Buddhism. So different philosophical views there, different religion, this homegrown. Then from outside, Zoroastrianism, from ancient Parsi. Now today, very small population in Bombay, less than 100,000, but very peaceful, no fear, And the Tata also come from that community. And because of Manekshaw also from Parsi community. So a very small community, but no fear. In Bombay, among millions of Hindus, millions of Christian, Muslim, a very small number of people who follow Zoroastrianism, very peaceful. So that's true, I feel that's the true India. That's the symbol of India. So eventually Judaism come and Islam come, because Christian come. So today, I think all major world religious tradition now very well settled in this country. Occasionally some problem here and there, that's understandable. Over a billion Indian human being, not God. So some mischievous people must be there. So that's understandable. Overall, I think religious harmony is, I usually telling people, India is the example. All major different religious traditions can live together. No problem. And Guru Nanak, Hindu background, but he took pilgrimage to Mecca in order to strengthening this religious harmony. Wonderful. So India, only I think this country can combine modern education, modern technology, modern facility, plus the inner value which come from ancient Indian knowledge. So that's, I think, obviously, the Indian tradition, all Indian sort of religious tradition, including practice of shamatha and vipassana. So those sort of religious tradition, which include practice of shamatha and vipassana, they automatically, you see, come explanation about mind, how to tackle our mind, how to tackle our destructive emotion. So ancient Indian psychology is highly developed. So as I mentioned earlier, you see, meeting, discussion with scientists, then psychology is concerned. The modern psychology, I publicly also, sometimes I express the modern psychology, judging, you see, those scholars about psychology, you see, their knowledge about mind looks like a kindergarten level. Indian psychology, highly developed. But unfortunately now modern Indian neglected about these things. Sometimes I jokingly is telling Indian, traditionally, you Indian, our guru. We are Chela. We learned from our guru, Indian guru. So over 1,000 years, we kept, you see, this knowledge. So I describe, we not only Chela of Indian teacher, but also we are quite reliable Chela. Over 1,000 years, we kept all this knowledge. So as a result, maybe I think unfortunate, now Chela of ancient Indian master now seems become guru. Ancient guru now become Chela. So in any way, so another my commitment is now reviving of ancient Indian knowledge in this country. All this knowledge is your knowledge. This ancient Indian knowledge, not only ancient knowledge, but also relevant to today's world. I think today, a lot of problems ultimately start from here. Recent weeks, really dangerous situation, North Korea, and these things. All these ultimately here, lack of sense of compassion, sense of universal responsibility. Think just me, we, and with that feeling, no hesitate to destroy other. So that's such a problem. So only through systematic sort of program to educate younger generation, then we are at the beginning of 21st century. So if we plan properly and carry education accordingly, then I think after 2 decades or 3 decades, another generation who come through that kind of education can be more peaceful. Peaceful businessmen, women, peaceful politician, or peaceful sort of economist or everything. Then I think our world can be more peaceful, more compassionate world. It is possible through education, not through prayer. I'm Buddhist. I pray to Buddha. Before Chinese Chinese came, we prayed too much to Buddha. Nothing happened. So one occasion in Patna, the chief minister, the present chief minister, wonderful person, he built one Buddhist vihara, one Buddhist statue also. So he invited me to open ceremony. He invited me. I went there, and in his speech, he mentioned, due to Buddha's blessing, his state, Bihar state, more rapidly prosperity. He mentioned that. Then my turn talk. Then I told, if Buddha's blessing help more prosperity, your state, then your state must be much more earlier prosperity because Buddha's blessing over 2,000 years already there. So that I told, the Buddha's blessing must go through able chief minister's hand. So that means work. Without work, pray to Buddha. So therefore, I think Buddha already sort of has made clear.
Buddha himself has actually made it clear.
He made, you are your own master. Everything depends on yourself. So if Buddha, told us he created, then why is Buddha created this miserable world? Of course, I respect all religion. I really respect. In philosophical field, yes, we disagree, but it doesn't matter. The real sort of message is wonderful, same. However, in the philosophical view, one of my friend, one Indian, he genuinely believed God. So then he told me, he asked me, this God, full of compassion, full of love, why among his creation, among humanity, many bad people there, many troublemakers there, why God creates that? He asked me. I had difficult to answer, but then told him, half joke, since God graciously created hell, so there must be someone who is ready to go to hell. Otherwise, no meaning, creation of hell. Like that. Sometimes you see, if you logically, analyze, then there's some contradictions there. So among the Buddha's own teaching, some contradictory. Therefore, Buddha the thought is in different sort of philosophical views according to the people or his follower, among his follower, different mental disposition. Like that. Next question.
We live in the world full of conflict, anger, depression, many other feelings which are negative. In all this reference, what is the true meaning of inner peace?
Inner peace, I believe, the sense of oneness of humanity. Whenever I talk, I always start brothers, sisters. I never mention some sort of or their ranks or titles like that. Then I always mentioning why I use the word brothers, sisters. That's something very important. I myself never consider I'm Tibetan, I'm Buddhist, I'm Dalai Lama. I never consider that. If I too much concern, emphasis, I'm Tibetan, I'm Buddhist, then I'm Dalai Lama. I sort of telling people, if I too much concern about Dalai Lama, then among the 7 billion human beings, only one Dalai Lama. So then I feel lonely. Isn't it? I consider myself as another human being. Then 7 billion human beings are my brothers, sisters. I really feel much happier. That automatically reduces the sense of self-centered attitude. The source of fear is too much emphasis, self-centered. So the way to reduce that, think other as our brothers, sisters. Not talking about next life, not talking about heaven or God. Simply day-to-day life. Even we can learn dogs, some other animals. who, you see, have more sort of open-minded and easily sort of live with other dogs, then much more peaceful. Some dogs is always barking, other dogs, then it becomes lonely. We can learn from them. And even animals very much appreciate our love, our compassion, our affection. A dog, a cat. If we sincerely showing them our love, our affection, they appreciate our licking. And the cat, like that. Very beautiful. Without sincere sort of affection, just feeding, they not much appreciate. Isn't it? There's some dogs or some cats, when you're feeding, yes, they enjoy the food, and no longer any sort of any sort of sign of affection. If you show them our affection, our love, they very much appreciate. Only problem is mosquito. I often ask, you see, people, one occasion in Oxford, you see, in the front line, many Oxford sort of scholars. So I asked them, which size of brain have the ability to create appreciation? So I told them, my question is, mosquito, when my mood good, and it is quite sure no malaria, danger of malaria, then I give some blood to some mosquito. They suck my blood, and their physical become fat and red. Then finally, some drops come, or no sign of appreciation. Dogs, birds, if you treat them sincerely, they appreciate. So, what level of brain have the ability to show appreciation? So many occasions I ask this question. So far nobody answered that. So the key thing is, since we are the social animal, individuals' life, individuals exist entirely depend on the rest of the community. So that's the source of our happiness. So self-centered attitude is just contradictory. That reality. So show them our affection. Share all our experience with them. Then you get more inner peace. If you are sincere and you also develop the self-confidence, all your works carried with sincere motivation, truthful, then you get inner strength. And you can carry your life transparently. That brings trust. That brings friendship. Social animal, we need friend, isn't it? So, now 11:30. Thank you. Now, I think these talks is related with the inner clean environment. We talk, you see, the environment about Himalayan, important. Equally important, clean
internal
inner environment. That's very important. So now, the other day, I was Hindu Lama
Karshnis.
Ka.
Swamiji.
Swamiji.
Karshnis.
Sign. the one Swamiji.
From Mathura, Swami Kashni.
Since many years, we are a very close friend. So recently I was there. So I told at a meeting, so I used to describe him, my elder brother. Looks older than me. So then he made correction. He is younger than me. Then I told, yes, age, I'm older, age-wise, I'm older. Now 82. He, I think, is 70 or something. So his appearances looks, he more older than me. So judging appearances, I describe him elder brother. Then, half joke, I'm mentioning, face, appearance is concerned, my face is more handsome.